Well, hello and welcome to Gmodism. This is your Admiral, Eric speaking, and we're going to look at all of the prefabs that are available for all the commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism. And if you, for some reason, don't know what a commissioned officer in the Army of Gmodism is, that is the Patreons, you know? You can enlist for free in the Army of Gmodism too, and access all of our challenges and cool stuff like that. Sometimes I actually drop some blueprints and stuff on the Discord, sometimes in the AOG chat. But if you want the neat folder with all of my blueprints, all of my prefabs, which we're gonna look at today, you will need to be a commissioned officer. Fortunately, if you want to support the channel, you can do that from $1 a month, so it's pretty accessible for many people who want to support the channel to do so at a lower level as well, which is great, and we get to files. So let's dive into these prefabs. All right, so prefabs for the commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism downloadable thing. Continuously updated as well, so when you download the prefabs, there is a possibility I updated a prefab. So when you download the updated files, since I do update them monthly or bi-monthly, you'll get a notification. I usually talk about that in the hashtag Army of Gmodism Army of Gmodism officers board in the Discord, and there is of course Patreon too. Anyways, we will be looking at the prefabs, and we got different ones here. So we got some AI prefabs. So here we have my older setup of AI cores, which is small, medium, and large basically. So they have different things built into them. You can see here that we have things that turn on and off the shield projectors automatically. You can see that the smallest AI core, you're supposed to only connect things with the rubber here, because that is of course making this AI core EMP insulated, right? So you can see here the MQL. The M is the main, like main guns or main control. And the Q is for quick guns, quick weapons. It's an extra computer then. And the L is another core there. And they're set up with different targeting practices, right? Anyways, AI, AMS, anti-missile system included, 4 repair bots, 4 RB, 1 RB, 1 repair bot. W missile, that means we have remote control missile too. So that's nice. Then we have some stuff here. We have some newer ones which I'm using nowadays more. And here we have the Orion core, AI primary. Here we have primary secondary, so it's a little bit easier to understand. We have anti-missile system 2 repair bot, and PSDSS, that is powered decoys and shields on and off. And that's the A. We have the B here, primary, secondary. I'm gonna show you a pretty neat feature with these prefabs. And the C class, which is of course bigger. The larger they are, the more repair bots do they have also. And RPA-AC, that stands for Roll, Pitch, Altitude, Auto Control. So we have some general PIDs in there. And the cool thing is that it is EMP insulated, but we use triangles, so we can actually look a little bit more easily inside the AI core when we need to fix stuff. And the larger they are, the more control they also have for the more general processing units they have. So here we have decoys, and here we have shield switches. And here we of course need to set manually the roll and pitch. And for the altitude, we need to set what altitude we want. If it's an airship, or just remove this block, we can also do that. And here you can see we have this thing. This is the secondary command. And if we look at the corner here, we also got some wireless snoopers, which is nice. Here is the mainframe with inter-vehicle transmitter, so that's usually something we have. And of course the target prioritization and dependent on how it's set up, it's supposed to target different things. So the main block, of course, the main AI will target the largest enemy, and the quick one will target the closest and quickest. Here we have the missile controller set to channel 9. On channel 9, all of my prefabs are set up to deal with remote anti-missile missiles. So all AMM systems is on channel 9. And if there is a built-in missile controller, then that's on channel 1. This AI core doesn't have it though. But the civs controller is of course connected up to the missile controller, which is connected up so that you can have civs stuff. Anyways, and the smaller ones are basically just smaller versions of that with not as many cores. And this one is the most rudimentary one. They all have the smart switch, however, so that's handy. I like these new cores a lot more than the old ones. Yeah, makes sense. And they of course also have some EMP. They have some surge protectors built in there somewhere. I do think they have that somewhere. Maybe. I think they do. Let's do like this. Yeah, exactly. Touching the heavy armor on the corners, we have surge protectors. And there is more, but wait, there is more. Anyways, here we have the Orion Core Remote Missile Computer Processing Core. So basically, when you want to have remote controlled missiles, you also want to have general purpose processing power to even control them. This is a channel 1 missile core. So this is just, you can see here on channel 1, you just add missiles and they are of course made to be remote controlled. Because that makes sense. If you don't have that, they will of course add to the general processing power of the main computer. Here we have the AI extra targeter. So if you just want an extra targeter, we have this Orion Core, EMP insulated and all, providing you with an extra targeting computer. And it's of course a good idea to spread out your AIs. So if you take a look at the Sheriff, for example, we have many AIs and they're not close to each other because we want to spread out the damage. Right. Then we have this funny thing. This is a pulsar thing. So here we can see some light fittings. If we have an enemy somewhere, this will switch between colors. It's basically, you know, police siren. You can make this be any color. And you don't need to be that close, of course. Just place them as close as possible. You'll see inside of here they're set up to 8 meters, but you can increase that. But if you go in here, by the way, and set this thing to not 8 meters, but like max, you will control all of the lights on your entire ship. And that might not be what you intend to do. And if you want to have alternating lights like that are reversed, you'll of course just switch the color on this and this inside the settings. Yeah, that's pretty rudimentary. That's of course also built for the constabulary. Now, here we have the block systems 40k ECM jammer. If you want your enemy to not shoot at you and be very accurate, here we have an ECM jammer. And they'll basically, when there is an enemy, they will just max these out. And you can remove one of the ECM jammers and they will of course only take 20,000 power. And ECM jammers makes missiles and like CRAMs and whatever shot at you less accurate. Here we have a big off switch. So if you have a ship that has all sorts of weird shit activated, like smoke, lights, whatever decoration, causing a lot of lag, you'll just, and hologram projectors too, you can put it there and you just turn off all of it. You can save the vehicle and they will be permanently disabled. So you don't need to do any, yeah, it's just simplifying life. When I have rules that you can't have stuff and people break them, I just slap that one down and we're good to go. Here we have a carrier dock spawner. So this contains everything you need. This is basically, put this on a ship and you have a carrier. Here we have the tractor beam. You can select the ship you want here. Here we have the sub-vehicle spawner. Select the same if you wanted to spawn with the craft next time. We have repair units. So if there is an enemy within anything, it will set the beam distance to 30 instead of 7. And you can change this so it sits in a good resting position. And then it will basically make it go up in the air a bit. And then, after a little while, it will release the vehicle. And when there is no enemy, it will recall them. And it's of course EMP insulated too. Very handy. Here we have the Block Systems Limited Liability Company. I like to put companies behind stuff. Processor, computer processor CPU. So this is a cute little data center. Yeah, it's a processing cores, EMP insulated, in a very cool little data center machine green thing. Here we have the shield projector decoy smart switch. So this is of course what is included in the AI course. If you want to have your own AI, you can just plonk this down and you have the shields and decoys automatically enabled and disabled if there is an enemy. Here we have the other thing included, roll pitch altitude, auto control. Using this with PIDs is a good idea because if you do that, you can control the ship manually without it falling out of the sky, without messing out the roll, without messing out pitch. This is like a must-have if you want to control an airplane by yourself. Here we have, otherwise it will be like a bad World War I type of experience where if you don't hold dearly onto the joystick, you'll crash and burn instantly. Anyways, here we have a thruster jaw director. So if we have a thruster, like a thruster, right? It can be directed, dependent on inputs. Now this is a fortress, so I bet it won't work, but it sets jaw of this thing by 15 degrees and helps you turn. This is something that everything in the constabulary actually uses. That's what makes the thrusters tilt in different directions whenever they get a jaw command. Very handy. And here we have the Gmodism Industries Azipods controller propulsion jaw thing. This works better in theory than it does in practice, but in theory this will provide that your this will make it so that the in the earlier video on the sub objects, you see the propulsion, this can control this thing, and even if they are on each side. The trick is that the left side, this spin block, you'll need to click Shift N, name it A, and you'll need to go to this side, click Shift N and name it B. So right side is B, left side is A, and then it should tilt them forwards when you're going forwards, tilt them backwards, and when you're going backwards, tilt half of them, tilt like the, let's see here, the left ones are tilted so your propulsion is forward, and the right ones are anyways, tank steering. They're like opposite directions to turn. However, they have a weird thing where they have a hierarchy. So to make it work properly, you'll have to basically choose if you want going forwards and backwards is more important or doing jaw is more important. If jaw is more important, set these priorities to higher. And if going forwards and backwards is more important, then you'll need to set these priorities, the gray ones, to max. Yeah. Hope it helps someone. I should learn breadboard, I know, but this works pretty well for the Pigeon. I'll give you that. Which you saw in the first video in this little micro series, or the second one, where we looked at all the blueprints. Yeah, this is the AI systems anyways. The following folders are not as large. We have ammunition. This is a stackable type of barrel. It contains ammunition. However, this is not full heavy armor blocks, it's half heavy armor. And I found out that this is the minimum thing we can get away with when stacking ammunition like this and not make them serial detonate. It also looks like a barrel, which is cool. Then we have diff gun flak shell. So if you have diff systems and you don't know how to set up a diff shell, or you're just lazy like me, here we have it. Munition defense bodies, a head, a timed fuse, and minimal gunpowder. Just as it should be. We also got a kinetic sieves shells for our kinetic guns. Our kinetic sieves guns. Here we have it. Heavy head, 2 stabilizer fins, and they are of course made to be perfectly balanced with the turrets we have that are using kinetics. And here we have a big shell ammo. So that's just a fun ammo barrel that looks like a CRAM shot. And this is of course for decorative purposes. You can make like a machine gun line for your CRAMs. I don't know, it's cool. Now, here we have some armor slabs. So I thought up some different armor slabs basically. And I'm in the process of updating these a little bit. But anyways, here we have some heavy armor stagger like this for some kind of middle layer. Here we have maxed out kinetic absorbing armor. And they are S12 because they are 12 wide and they are 8 high. So they're like 2 stack blocks high. Here we have the heavy naval hull, which was the original hull for the Super Davidos. And I also made diagonal variants. But this is for a lighter one actually. Anyways. Light naval hull. Class A is the most expensive. Class B is kind of the middleman. And Class C is like the cheapest one. So here we can see we have like minimal air gap hull. You can get a pretty decent armor like this. Just plonking it down. And I'm about to update them or add new variants, so keep that in mind. Here we have naval hull armor, class B. This is the original armor for the Gimla actually. So yeah, people think this was thin, but you know, this is pretty good too. We have an integrated spall liner here. With a thinner armor type. I won't go through all of these, but here we have aviation armor. I think the name is so cool, I want to use them. Anyways. Here we have something useful. Diagonal staggered era armor. Back staggered era. So that you can easily just have this under the first layer of armor. And you'll negate incoming, you'll negate incoming HESH and heat shells a bit. And AP heat. And sap heat. Here we have a funny diamond coat that is basically a nice way to deal with high armor piercing but low damage shell and also redirect stuff. This is also for redirecting HESH shells to be specific. So this is just the studded wooden board. You can plonk it on top of your flat armor and you'll redirect some HESH shells. This is the only new armor slab. This is the ultimate HP sponge. So the thing hits the metal here, so it got some armor debuff, whatever. Then we have wood and stone. So we have some float and we, most importantly, have sheep health points. This armor slab is only meant to be internal armor, and it's a HP sponge, so it's not supposed to be on the surface, it has no air gap, right? Next out, we have CRAM systems. Now, we do have some pretty funny CRAM systems that may not be too much up to date, because they are not 3D CRAMs, but this is basically a CRAM broadside cannon. The broadsword uses these. Now the ones that are really cool are the stackable ones, because they take inspiration, they take energy of each other, they take packing, you know. So if you stack a line of them like this, they'll be more powerful together because they get connections from each other. And we have this one is stackable too here. Yeah. Stackable broadside CRAM cannons, if you ever wanted that. Here we have a flat tetris. This is like 3D tetris, 3 blocks high. So if you want to have broadside cannons with a decently more efficient tetris, well, here you got that. Now here we go with our other tetris. So basically the furthest down layer should be the top layer here, and then you'll just add on top of them like this. And the funny thing, you can see this green pattern here. That tells you how many barrels you can have at max. Now they won't be equally balanced, but they don't have to be. So how it works here, this is a D11, so with the diameter is turret 11. So yeah, the standard turret widths. And they have up to 5 barrel support, and you can connect them up together. Here we have a D13 with multi-barrel support as well. I didn't bother to count them for some reason. And here we have D15, 7 barrel. Here we have D5, only 1 barrel support. So you'll connect them all together. Yeah, and of course 3D Tetris is much more efficient. We have different D5s. If you want a 4 barrel, you can just check the stats, which is best for your project. D7, D9, diameter 9. That's of course how wide they are. The diameter should explain itself. So we have a 3 barrel support. We have a 2 barrel support, 4 barrel / 2 barrel, depends how you. Yeah, they have a little bit different stats, but are in all, very good 3D setups, all of them. And one of my favorite for smaller CRAM turrets, this is a stackable 3D CRAM that's only 3x3. Of course, it's gonna be less efficient at these sizes, but it's as good as it gets. And of course, here we have the T17. So we have the different layers here. Now the layer A, this is the good stuff. The layer C, that's like the cheap stuff. This is the connection layer. And then you're supposed to have a B. No, you're supposed to have, no wait. I think, yeah, you're not supposed to have that, never mind. You're supposed to have the layer A, and then the B, and then the A, and the B, and the A, and the B, and top off with the C. That's how it's supposed to work. Very redundant, very sturdy T17 turret design, if you wanted that. And I do believe that's probably the Tetris. That is the Tetris used on my largest CRAM turrets. So it's pretty nice. Oh, we even have a budget mortar system here, isn't that fun? So if you want to plonk down a cheap mortar, it's better on spin blocks, but this works. It's only Draconia, I think. Anyways, moving on, we have decks and detections. This is not the best, it's just I wanted to make some decks. So yeah, this is actually on the Adventure Seaplane. Here we have the Lavish Cabin. This is on the Super Davidos. It looks like a train cabin. Well, and here we have the EMP resistant detection tower. So if you want to have a nice big piece of superstructure, you can just plonk this on top, and this has detection inside of it, and it's also EMP insulated. Isn't that quite nice? It is. Then we have decoration. we have so much here in the decoration. I won't go into all of it on details. We have stuff like my chandeliers for the gimlet. We have stuff like black text for slope. So if you got the slope, you'll just put this on the slope here, and you'll have the black text perfectly matched. We have logo with the imgur links for slopes here. You don't need to set them up every time. And you can switch the pictures with whatever you want. So this is an on-surface sticker, which means that it goes on the outside of stuff. You just put it on the outside. It's hidden, but it's perfectly aligned. And you can swap the images with whatever you want to if you don't want the AOG stuff. Black text on flat surface. Then we have Setup made some really cool designs for the Stridsjacht, and I asked him to steal those. So here we have the share. Yeah, approved. The share, everything made by Setup is of course called Setup Design. We got a drawer. We got a drink on a table. Isn't that so cool? A little Rambot drink, like of oil with a tiny little bit of Q switch on there. We have the Army of Gmodism gemstone shield. Yeah, we have so many things. Gold text, gold logo. And this is like auto nice interiors. Here we have this Setup's pool table. And we got, let's see here, the AOG poster. Isn't that nice? So on the wall, we can plonk this down, and you'll have all the ranks in the Army of Gmodism here on a poster. Very nice. Ah, this shelf is beautiful. Also by Setup, and the sunbed. Here I have today's lunch, which is a proud design of mine. Eating with wooden logs. Rambot food. You need to eat your fibrous scaffolding or your body will collapse. And don't forget the micro mainframes from tiny creatures. It's probably only me that thinks this is smart, but I made a prefab staircase so that we can make a good staircase for any big building very quickly. I thought it was nice. Yeah, all is just a bit of decoration. It's so cool. And it's so nice that once that we could borrow from Setup too, because Setup is just such an amazing interior things designer, as we can see on the Stridsjacht. Anyways, moving on. Engines and power. Here we have all sorts of stuff. Here we had like propellers that are stationary if you want to paste them on stuff. We have a battery pack. So this is basically a big piece of battery and some engines inside of a big nice EMP insulated box. We have a gas recycler module. So this thing can actually be connected up on the green port, and in the red port it will output the gases again. So if you have gases on your engines, you put them into this green pipe, and then they will be reused by this engine, and your entire build will be much more efficient. Very handy, the gas recycler. We have the Slim Jim Eco Plus, which is super handy because it doesn't require an exhaust and can be put in random spaces. It's still decently efficient, and it provides 1000 power. Here we have the trash bin gas recycler, and that's the same as the previous one, but it's a double setup, so for larger builds. The El Variable mini engine uses 3 different engines with different priorities in a setup like this. It's kind of small, but you know, 1000 power in that space is pretty good. We have a 3-stage fuel engine here, which been around for a while, but it's still pretty good. It's so asymmetrical, I'm owing myself how I made this work. But it does work. And this is the better 3-stage engine. I like this one. If you want to be really stylish, we have 9,000 power per material in this super nice little shell. This, my ladies and gentlemen, is the 2SI 3000 Echo Army of Gmodism engine unit. Very nice indeed. We have a similar thing, the 8,000 power lightweight power jet engine for all your aircraft needs, not underwater. This thing doesn't provide any thrust, it only provides engine power. To a in a very nice package. The power flower injector engine is pretty insane, but pretty good. And the power rod, it's the same thing, but gigantuous basically. It has 12,000 power, so this will solve all your power needs. The smallest fuel engine is, as the name would suggest, very power efficient and probably not worth your time. But it's, you know, for things that will sit and chill for a long time. People seem to love this one. This is the steamed pork. It's a nice little slab providing a lot of power actually. 23,000 power to be exact. Here we have a structural generator. It provides power, but it's mostly here to look pretty cool. It's like a little, you know, mobile energy station. Now, we have some different big S-Corp main engines. So the main engines are kind of powerful, but you can see the 1K power is of course very small. The type 0 is, as you can see, using big stuff here. Yeah, it's very nice. They have a different coding here. So A stands for that's small, B stands for medium. So here we have A, we have a B, we have different main engines, we have like medium, and we have small, and the C ones, they are actually the large steam, which is of course really good for battleships. This is a 4-stage engine, 3-in-1. This is present on the Gimli, for example. And we of course have more compact, smaller Class A variants as well, looking pretty good. This is actually in the constabulary. Anyways, we have the same for generators. So here we have the largest generator, 80,000 power, big steam, perfectly balanced like that. So if you want quick energy and quick engine power, you can just select whatever, it's labeled here. Here is my newest one. This is a battleship engine. It is providing, 10,000 efficient power. So if your ship or airship or whatever costs 10,000 to keep alive, then this is perfect. And it can go up to 22,000 power if it needs to. But it can run at 10,000. It can provide 10,000 engine power in a pretty darn efficient way. And of course this one has an exhaust, and I made it directional so that you can, like inside of here, turn this whatever up if you want it to go up or forwards or whatever, down. Yeah, very handy. So this is my newest multi-stage engine, and I'll tell you, this was absolutely hell to set up. It's a 3-stage engine. There is a big portion of super efficient engine, which is here, and that exhaust goes to this engine that's using cylinder and carburetor turbochargers. And if that is not enough, it uses injector engines to refill. Here you can see the injector engine in the middle there. And that injector engine feeds the turbo. Yeah, also. It's a mess. And all of it is also getting recycled here in the gas recycler here in the end. So it's actually technically a 6-stage engine, I think. No. This is a 6... Yeah, I don't know. It's 4 stages in total. It's crazy. But it's good. It's crazy good. I don't know. For a fuel engine, it's the best I could do. Then we have the lasers. So we have lamp nodes, for example, set up in the right way and whatever. We have, this is the important bit, we have the laser controller core. So the laser controller core will be connected up to anything here. And if you go inside of here, everything that needs to be EMP insulated in my laser system is, and everything that doesn't have to be isn't. So here we can see we have the right settings set up here, so it's like a no-brainer. Just plonk it down, you have the laser core here. The yellow ports give you the connections. And here we have the Lazarus Inc. The Lazarus Inc. is like the system here. 100,000 capacity, 2,000 power, 5,000 power pump. We have some different ones here. The armored ones are, as said, EMP insulated. And you'll need to connect them up to their ports like that, and you'll be given energy. And if you go in here, you can see it's set up in this way. Pretty close range, pretty standard good lamp setup. Now, there are different Lazarus blocks here. We don't need to go to them in detail, but in the system I also provide some armored connections. So for example, if I want to connect here, I can just quickly set up a connection, you know, pretty easily with the different 2-3-way L connectors. Now, we also have some other stuff like a big integrated box. This is a pretty big scary laser. I don't really recommend it having it like this, but it is EMP insulated. And if you want to have a really big laser in a simple way, that's the way to go. We also have pulse lasers and also unarmored components. So all are not armored. So a pulse laser, of course, is set up in a way to work with a pulse system. It has a Q switch as well. So that I usually prefer Q0 lasers, but some people like to have, I don't know, Q4, Q2, Q whatever. And there we have the pulsars, right? Well, it's basically a nice little setup of different types of lasers. And the black sheep here is, of course, the this thing, which is the same thing, but it's not the Lazarus system, but it is actually a weapon. It's seriously a broadside cannon. This is actually the thing that's installed on the Sheriff. Pretty simple, but effective. Anyways, moving on, we have mannequins. We have shilling. We have like mannequins doing different things, made to stand on different ways. Here's the shilling on the railing. This one I lended from Scovimation, who built an updated version of the Pigeon. So he had some super funny. This one, the Deep Thinker, I had to steal it basically. And then we have what is it? I need to see it. Sleeping. No, that's I made that one. Yeah, Sneaky Surfer. This is my favorite. So it has to be in the right direction though. Like, no. Okay. Well, whatever. Now it works. Okay. It's someone sitting and surfing with their phone. It's so nice. And I made most of them, of course. Taking cover because it's loud and just simplifying stuff. And oh, this one is also Scovimation's. A cadet checking their time. Isn't that nice? So, yeah. That's very nice. Binoculars, user, all of stuff. Anyways, mannequins, if you want that, some AOG navy blue ones. Then we have missile systems. So here we have all-in-one 16 munition packs. So this is of course super quick anti-missile missiles integrated into one system. We have for Captain Scoobrooks, the former captain who is now an admiral, a big vertical launch missile system, all integrated and EMP insulated. We also have some anti-torpedo systems to be mounted under your hulls. And I even have a amphibious system. So these work both under and over water, targeting missiles and torpedoes. We also got some super quick armored and EMP insulated VLMs. And these are of course very good at shooting at incoming CRAM shells also. They have been super tweaked to have ultimate performance. So I'm pretty happy with the Ultra 21s. VLM we also have in an EMP insulated Sifnu if you just want that. And you can make them how large you want to as well. Very nice. That's gonna be expensive. You can see it costs like 21,000 materials too. Here we have the Daruta KK AOG Metropolis class huge vertical launch missile system. I haven't used this yet, but this is a huge missile that is very dangerous, a vertical launch, that we're gonna use for some capital ships in the future. I think that one is set up to be incendiary. The good old needles. That's like Draconia era. And this one is super good for two super tiny builds. We have the Type A little, integrated anti-missile missile system. So that's the missile templates. Now we have some plasma. And I just provided some plasma patterns. This is basically a big nice slab of charged plasma. So if you want a charged plasma system, this is a good way to go. You can just copy and paste this. And if you want continuous plasma, you'll have stackable redundant plasma, which you can just build into towers like this, and you'll have constant damage redundant plasma. And the funny thing with this is that it can be basically built in all and any directions. You can just add on top of them like that and it should work absolutely fine. Also got some integrated power, since we require a lot of battery power for plasma builds. It can be smart to be having it integrated there. Then we got some shields. This is some iron rivets which can be installed in the hull of ships. That provides you with laser warners, detection, automatic release of smoke, and a shield projector that is activated. We also got a diagonal one that is supposed to go into diagonal hulls, so it's set up in a pretty good way. And of course it's also EMP insulated. So the BIR is the black iron rivet system, different versions of that, and we have one under the waterline as well that doesn't have that doesn't need things that don't, you know, we don't need smoke there really, and we don't need laser warners or munition warners because they don't work underwater. Right, then we also have ring shields. This is a gigacube of ring shields to improve that. And we have a slice too, an EMP insulated slice, which we can add onto stuff to make it more safe. This blue little rod here symbolizes if this thing breaks, where will the enemy beam go? So don't place anything important in front of this blue little exhaust port, because if this breaks, there is the exit beam. And as you know, with the ring shields, the exit beams are pretty scary stuff. And if you want maximum distance between the shields, well, then you need a way to measure that, right? So I made a way to measure that. That's the measuring sticks. And if you're having diagonal ones, well, you can see this little thing that here is where the shield projector goes. That means that the next shield projector goes here. So it's like a smart network to set up shields in the optimal way, so you don't need to measure. Right, then the last thing we have, that's the turret wells. It's pretty straightforward. We have deck holes. So in the deck, for example, we have a hole for this turret. And then if we have wood, metal, alloy, then we have a compact turret segment. So if we want to have a compact turret, we have heavy armor in the front, we have metal and stone in the back. So we basically face the heavy armor side to where the scary stuff are. Then we have the standard turret armor, which is heavier but also much more safe. And they get stacked down like this, and of course it's the same thing. The sides are covered with heavy armor and the back is stone. So it's really important to have protected turret wells, and this makes it very easy. And that is available for T11, T13, T15, T17, T3. Like even T3. And the standard one for T3. Yeah, T5, T7, T9. Basically all the common ones. Yeah. And these are my two old turret wells, but the newer ones are preferable. Wow, that was really something. That's a lot of prefabs, and that's all the prefabs. So now we did all the now I have made all the three parts. We have the constructibles, we have the turrets, we have the prefabs, and with the knowledge on how to install them, you should probably join the commissioned officers and get a head start of getting efficient systems into this game, if that is something you don't want. Or if you just want to support the channel, of course, it helps a lot. Huge thanks to all the current commissioned officers. Anyways, that's all my prefabs I have right now. I'm adding new all the time, and they will be in the updated files, as usual. And there we have it. Here we have the prefabs. Also, if the prefabs and anything looks weird on your system, it's probably because you haven't set up the Army of Gmodism color scheme as a secondary color scheme. I highly recommend that you do that. You can have several fleet colors and you can switch between them. And you only need to set them up one time and you got them forever, so that you can see all of the Army of Gmodism stuff in its full glory, which I think is pretty dandy. Anyways, with these prefabs, you can now do a lot of stuff. Build your own super good CRAM turrets, have fun decorations and whatnot. In any case, huge thanks for watching, and huge thanks to all of those who want to support the channel and are able to do so as well. Check out my other channels here, the Gmodist channel, the Gmodism channel, and the Relaxism channel. On the Gmodist channel, if that's up and running right now, you should have some 24/7 entertainment. Basically, full, like 24/7 combat entertainment. I put together so many hours. Like, is it 100 hours? I don't know. Anyways, it just goes in a loop with fun combat stuff. On the Relaxism, you find some cool, relaxing videos. I actually got it from the depth-themed one there. Anyways, see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. This is your host, Eric, your Admiral, signing out.